Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vainglory Professional League VISPRO, as we are here kicking off our second week and the start of the quarterfinals. I'm your host, Dragonborn. Tonight, joining me, it's Sean Ostino, as we look to get into these exciting games. Sean, this is going to be an exciting week. I want to quickly show the schedule for everybody who might be tuning in for the first time for the week 2. At least this is going to be our schedule. You can't see it, Sean, but it is going to be every single day up until actually Saturday, as that's when the grand finals are going to be. But we are going to be having the first round of quarterfinals today, our second round of quarterfinals tomorrow, and then Thursday, Friday, we're going to get into the semifinals. It's going to be an exciting set of games we've got stored for you guys.
Yeah, it is going to be exciting, Dragonborn. I'm pretty pumped about it. You know, we started with 16 teams here on VISPRO this winter season, and it's 3v3, so it's going to be the swan song for 3v3 here in North America. So I'm really stoked about that too. And we're getting down to the last 8 teams here. It is single elimination style, so we're down to 8 teams here in the quarterfinals. And coming up tonight, we should be doing Tribe versus Rare Syndicate, and later on we'll be doing From Mars versus Misfits. I'm really excited about these matches.
Yeah, our 2 matchups tonight are great. Tribe, I mean, they're coming off actually a pretty rough first go of it on the round of 16. They didn't perform very well, and to be honest, Sean, they've got to pick it up and play better tonight, because Rare Syndicate was playing red hot last week, and this is a team that I think, even though they're 9th seed going against the 1st seed, the seeding here, at this point, they're not going to really matter as much, and I think you're really going to see these matchups. I think the rest of the quarterfinals are going to be very close.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I don't want to take anything away from Tribe. They are the current Vainglory world champions. I feel like just they tried to show off a little bit. All credit to them. You know, they are the world champions, so I feel like they could probably try some wonky compositions here and there, but it was a questionable draft in game 2 last week going up against Ludicity, and I feel like they were punished for it very easily. But game 3 that came after that, they ended up just really stomping Ludicity, and Tribe ended up getting a perfect game in that matchup.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's something that, you know, it depends on how they draft. It depends on what they bring out here as far as that. Because I think, you know, when they're on their comfort picks and if they go into it with a good draft, I think that you absolutely are right that they could stomp the enemy team. But Rare Syndicate played really well. They barely dropped a kill. They didn't drop a game. And they're looking to come in here. Our next matchup, of course, from Mars versus Misfits is another exciting one. That's going to be a 4th versus a 5th seed. And so that is going to be also a very close matchup.
Yeah, those are going to be a lot closer. Now, we did see Misfits go up against Reluctancy. They were a 12th seed, and they beat them pretty solid in 2-0 fashion. And it was actually nearly a perfect game in game 1. They ended up getting 11-2 there. But in game 2, that's where we had a lot of action. The game was a little bit closer. We had a lot of ganks coming out from Maokai on Taka there, and Reluctancy actually put up a better fight that match, and it was a pretty close game until late game, and that's when they had a really healthy Kraken push go into the base, and Misfits ended up taking the game there. So they got 2-0 in that series. And then later, you know, on the other side, we're going to be seeing From Mars, and they're something to be trifled with too. You know, they're not to be trifled with, rather, and they were formerly Team Hazard last season, and they're going to be getting into VG8, but they beat Infinity Rebirth last week, which was a 13th seed team, so they're nothing to scoff at themselves.
Right. No, we've got all of these teams in the quarterfinals are top tier teams, so excited to see them play. Let's jump into looking at our rosters for this matchup. Coming up here, 1st seed Tribe. It will be T-Tigers, D'Enzo, Max Green as the starters, but it looks like tonight Excelsior might be stepping in, at least for game 1, as our power sub in this matchup. Rare Syndicate will be using their main starting lineup here tonight, though, with girls on boys, Edwin and Kongsta starting up with Played Hard. I believe looking to come in here for maybe a 2nd or 3rd match, from what I've just been reading quickly here in the chat. So we'll have to see. But I think we're ready to get into our draft for this first series, Sean. So without further ado, let's get into it here.
The draft begins.
Hopefully everybody is ready to go.
Yeah, let's do it, Dragonborn. I'm pretty excited to see what comes off the board. And Grace is taken off the board on A side. So Tribe is banning that healer away. It's a pretty smart ban. And then on B side, of course, what we typically see here is Varya taken off the board. They don't want to let that through. Churnwalker, really strong captain now, picked up for A side, and Max Green likely going to be doing the churning over there.
Yeah, and we typically see the churn picked up on A side when it is a Varya B side ban, and churn's not banned on A side. Grace was the decision for Tribe to ban that instead of the Churnwalker. We see either or, actually. Now with Rare Syndicate on the board, likely to pick their support. We've seen almost most of the time an Arden picked here, but Rare Syndicate could be feeling a little gutsy and want to pick up a comfort pick or a power pick to not let that get banned out in the second wave of bans. We see sometimes that's, if you have a comfort pick or a hero you really want to play, you're not going to risk it getting banned out in the second round, but instead they are going to go with Lyra. And Lyra's been like that third or fourth priority captain when we see Grace banned, or if they decide not to go with an Arden.
Yeah, it's always really important to pick up a healer here. We have Grace off the board. Lyra's being picked up. Those Imperial Sigils and the Burst Heal, it has been nerfed in previous patches with that Burst Heal, but she still has a lot of sustain, and sustain is the name of the game here on the Halcyon Fold. Blackfeather taken off the board, one of those flexible lane or junglers. He can go the CP route or the weapon power route. And, we have Ringo off the board now as well, and that's banned by Tribe. Ringo has been really, really prominent in the meta here on VISPRO this season, and he's either been 100% picked or banned. So he's been a very big part of VISPRO so far.
Almost. There was an entire series where he was neither picked nor banned, although I would consider that an outlier. And Rare Syndicate are going to pick, I would say, maybe one of the next best laners available. Vox is in a pretty good spot. We've seen Vox builds go multiple ways. He still could be built as that crit damage hero, Sean, but we've also seen him build with that cooldown reduction, weapon power build that we see so often on the Ringo. So really kind of excited to see how the Vox play comes into here. Syndicate has been playing really well. And again, this laner here on Kongsta, Edwin, and Girls on Boys, this roster has been very dominant. But Tribe, wow. A Baron pick here on 2.11. Might be the first.
Baron is actually in solo queue. He's one of the pretty prominent, the top 4 laners right now, according to Excoundrel. And he could go, usually you see him going weapon power. It does increase his range when you put full points into his ultimate, his Ion Cannon. And he could do a lot of area impact splash damage as well. Samuel picked up over here, looking to be probably on Zelciar, and that's going to be a lot of AoE damage coming out of this composition here, Dragonborn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so with the burst damage coming out of not only, there's going to be a lot of backline damage, a lot of kiting siege potential here from Tribe, and the Churnwalker can potentially frontline a lot of the damage. He can be very, very tanky once he gets mid to late game, get some of those items on him. Once he gets Crucible, he gets some perhaps a metal jacket on him too. And he could just absorb a lot of damage and confer a lot of damage too once he gets a lot of chains hooked in there too. So it's a really back heavy composition here with the kiting potential and a squishy backline too at it. But once they get past the Churnwalker, they're able to break block out those trespasses and torments that he has. We could see we could actually see a lot of damage coming out from Rare Syndicate.
Yeah, go with the aggressive jungle comp here. This is obviously an attempt to be very bursty in the early game with that Aftershock composition. And this is something I love to see this come out. We've seen it a couple times where the Crystal jungler will be that Aftershock build that's just, again, early upfront damage. But Samuel's really good level 2. If they let Tribe win the early game, that will put the Fortress so far behind that buying an Aftershock will be a little too late.
Yeah, I do kind of like what I see on Rare Syndicate as well, though. Even though you mentioned that about the Aftershock, it's still a lot of dive potential, really dive-heavy potential from this composition. And we have, on the opposite side, Tribe has got a kiting composition. It's pretty much protect the carries from with this Churnwalker over there. So if we see Sonic Zooms come out, the Arcane Passage will allow will allow Rare Syndicate to get on the back line. If they're able to do that effectively and focus down the Baron, then it could be a very good strategy for Rare Syndicate to hold up to.
No, absolutely. We've seen basically the top pick heroes in the meta right now banned out, so that opens up the game a lot, and I love what Tribe has done here. Massive AoE, so this is all going to be about landing your skill shots. The Samuel the jungle, this is something we've not necessarily seen Excelsior play a ton of, because he's normally not in that substituting role, but he is in here tonight, so I'm really excited to see how they play meshed up with this composition. The Churn Walker, Max Green, I mean, that's a combination you always love to see, Sean.
Yeah, agreed, especially when you have AoE damage with other heroes like we do here with this Baron, with this Samuel. Zelsier and Diencio are going to have a field day with Max Green here, and we're off to the fold here. Game 1 tonight on VISPRO, Tribe versus Rare Syndicate. It's going to be a good one out here.
Oh, absolutely. As we start off here early, a little bit of blowing kisses in the middle of the jungle. This is something, you know, they could trade damage. I think they know that trading damage is kind of fruitless. Neither of their carries are going to be at this point at the mid camp, but that could change pretty soon.
It could change very soon. It looks like we did see what we typically see here, the two carries rotating through the jungle together, getting that experience up so that they can get level 2 and get their abilities online very, very quickly. And a lot of poke coming out from Zelsier, throwing out those Malice and Verdicts, and it looks like we have Tribe here focusing down this tree, and they are taking that extra experience and gold onto Zelsier. Really well done for them. And we see Diencio going up into the lane, damage traded upon Edwin, but he's just going to be healed up by that Imperial Sigil. Kongsta taking a bit of chunk damage from Max Green. Max Green's got his own damage in return, but looks like the teams are just going to be farming up here. So when do we expect this composition from Tribe to be coming online, Dragon?
Well, they kind of did a good job playing into it already. The 2 crystal bits on Excelsior made sure he had a strong level 2 Drifting Darkness with those Malice and Verdicts, and plus you've got a little bit of poke with the Baron as well as with the Churn Walker. So you saw that it really Rare couldn't contest that Elder Treant because of how much damage is coming out early from Tribe. So already they are putting a lot of damage on the board.
Yeah, Kongster was going really low. He had to back a little bit, pop his healing flask, rather. And Edwin's pretty low himself, but the Imperial Sigil didn't do that much, actually. Kongstar's going so low, and he's taken out. Girls on Boys next on the menu. Is he going to be able to get away? Yes, he does. And Edwin, dangerously low himself. He is just going to have to back off. Oh, but he's getting hit down by that AoE damage. Empowered Malice and Verdicts dropping down all around him. He's going to have to port back to base. And Girls on Boys isn't done yet, taking Max Green pretty low there, but Girls on Boys is in trouble himself. Imperial Sigil gives him a little bit of extra health to sustain, and it looks like the two teams are just going to go their separate ways, but Zelsier taking it to the jungle, trying to steal away some of those back camps, and he steals the backs for himself, and it looks like he took that Treant away, but he is in trouble. 3 members of Rare Syndicate are onto him being slowed up by that Principal Arcanum. He is getting away, and Girls on Boys and Edwin dangerously low right now, but there's still the aggression there, and the back and forth traded one out. Zelsier gets himself killed and takes Girls on Boys as well, and we're at 2-1 here, and we're still not done. Max Green is walking his dog Kongsta around to the back, and it looks like the teams are finally going to go their separate ways, but 2-1 up here for Tribe, and about a 1,500 gold lead for them 3 minutes in.
Yeah, that could have even been worse. You saw how much damage Samuel was doing, and then the sustain. 3 members of Rare Syndicate were on top of him, chasing him through the bottom part of their own jungle, and they couldn't bring him down fast enough. He would pull backwards, then a Drifting Darkness would come up, and they would run away. They were too low of health, they didn't want to go down, and of course, right behind the jungle, coming up from the bottom, was Max Green there at any moment. So, really, Rare Syndicate being very careful early on and respecting the damage that's going to come out of Excelsior Samuel.
Yeah, you put it really, really right there, Dragonborn. Zelsier, he's just doing a lot of work, and he's able to trade so well. We know that Samuel can get really strong early game. Once he hits his level 2 power spike, he stays pretty strong for quite a while, but he's still very, very squishy. And if if we see Edwin, Kongsta, and Girls on Boys able to get to the back line, then they could really blow him up. Even though he's got the 2 kills right now, Zelciar does have the 1 death. So he's got to watch out. Dienzio pretty much untouched up there in the lane, sitting at 50 CS right now. You look across the board at Edwin, actually. He's behind. He's got 20 CS behind to Dienzio. So you can already see that we do have a difference in the amount of gold that's going their way. Sorrowblade has already been picked up by Dienzio, and Edwin has a breaking point, so he really wants to ramp up the damage.
No, absolutely. They do want to get onto their power spike soon. Vox takes a little bit of time. Oh, Sean.
That ion cannon just annihilated him, and the slows for days from the porcupine mortars were just craziness. And we have minion candy actually popped here by Tribe, and they're sieging this turret up pretty well, down to about half health. But Girls on Boys still there, trying to contest, gets tormented back, and there's no cigar for him, not able to do that much. Tribe just doing the work here. 5 minutes in, they take out the first turret, and it looks like Rare Syndicate's going in onto Zelciar, trying to blow him up. He's kiting backwards. Empowered Malice and Verdicts raining down upon Girls and Boys, but the wolves have been popped. They're going after. Girls on Boys isn't giving up. He's being tormented back and forth. Edwin's there as well, and oh my goodness, the Churn Walker taking out Edwin. Max Green making the plays, and Kongsta taken down as well. Double kill going on to Zelciar there, and an early ace 6 minutes in. This is insanity, Dragonborn. 7-1 right now.
If we had any doubts about Tribe playing from last week's game, those doubts have been completely removed and squashed. I mean, because Tribe right now is playing incredible. Rare Syndicate looked like a great team last week, and they are struggling. Game 1, this is not going their way. Then Tribe are on fire. I guess they kind of cleaned up some of the issues that they had last week. The drafting is a little bit different, and just like that, look at that. Sean, I'm sorry that I didn't let you get a chance to just break down those plays, because this is just Tribe on fire right now.
Tribe is a fireball right now, Dragonborn. Look at that. They've already destroyed their second turret, probably within less than 2 minutes of the first one. And they just really can't do anything about it. Another 2 kills were traded out right there. And Zelciar, is the only one who's taken a death right now on the side of Tribe. So they're doing so well. If you look at Zelciar there, he's got 37 CS in the jungle. Girls on Boys only has 22. I feel like what I'm seeing here, Dragonborn, is Rare Syndicate has been constantly barraged by all these jungle invades, by this lane pressure. Minion candies have been popped by Tribe, and the lane pressure and the jungle being lost to them results in about a 6,500 gold lead now for Tribe.
Yeah, it's insane. Because if you think about it, this is a late game composition with that Baron. I mean, they're not going to fall off into the late game as they move into like a Vox Fortress. The Lyra is still going to do heal, and the Vox will scale. But man, as we got another fight breaking out, Sean.
Oh man, the wolves have been popped. Kongsta is going really low. He's tormented back, but he gets killed. Edwin goes down too. The Crystal Sentry, he's not doing that much. He's going to get taken out as well. Girls on Boys kiting backwards, but the Ion Cannon double kill. Oh man, he is unbeatable. Dienzio 5-0 right now. This choke point turret is going down. The crit damage coming out of him, 500 plus damage. Nobody has armor. Finally, a coated plate's picked up by Girls on Boys. Dragonborn, insanity out here on the fold. Tribe is winning it.
Yeah, Tribe. I mean, they've got a lot of damage right here. That's a 2-item Baron at just 8 minutes. So, you know, you've got to respect that. Plus, Excelsior, he built that Dragon's Eye early, and then he picked up a decent amount of crystal damage to bat it up. No, very little defense across anybody, really, other than the supports. But you could see Kongsta choose to go with that Crucible first, had not built out the Fountain just yet. So his team just doesn't have the sustain quite that they need to work through these fights. They need it. There's a lot of bursts coming on right now. When you have those Merciless Pursuits and the Porcupine Mortars coming down on you, you can get blown up very quickly, and without enough defense, you're going to see it continually happening. You do see a nice block on that Trespass there, Sean, but it's not going to really matter, because at this point, it just looks like Dienzio and company, this Tribe roster, they are putting up the numbers.
I'm losing you, Dragon Ball. I think I might be having a little bit of a connection issue with my internet. And if you're losing me, please go ahead.
Well, I can hear you just fine. So.
All right. If you can't hear me, let me know in the Discord. But anyway, yeah, it looks like they're going for a gank. Edwin, Ion Cannon, 396 damage. He is backing off, forced to pop that healing flask. And again, we're having Rare Syndicate having to go back to their healing pad. There is just so much pressure coming out from Tribe right now. It's ridiculously insane. Almost a 10,000 gold lead right now. Breaking Point, Tyrant's Monocle picked up by Edwin. And Weapon Infusion 2, finally, we have a Fountain picked up by Kongsta. I don't know if that's going to be enough for them to be able to fight back versus Tribe.
And it's a little worrisome that Edwin has to start buying infusions already. He's only got 2 items where he's going into a 3-item Baron, and he also only has a tier 1 armor. So he's not necessarily going to have a lot of sustain either. Girls or boys forced to build that coat of plates, but even Kongsta doesn't have any armor yet. So very, very squishy. If they don't take out the Enzio right away, this could be another fight going in favor of Tribe here, as you see it engage taking place.
Yeah, Edwin's going so low down. 506 damage. Those crits are just insanity. Fountain is popped. D'Enzio is going down to half health, but yet he got finally shut down, actually, by Edwin. Girls on Boys, ridiculously low. Max Green and Zelciar take him out, and we have Zelciar on the hunt, throwing out those empowered Malice and Verdicts. The Drifting Dark hitting Kongsta. He's taken out too. It's an ace. 15-2 right now. 10, almost 11 minutes in, and the Crystal Sentry eliminated.
Oh yeah, Tribe. I mean, that's the first time we've seen D'Enzio go down, and it just goes to show you with just 2 kills how well they've been playing together. They've been going into fights they know they could win, which basically has been since right out the gate. And we talked about, Samuel early on is going to do a lot of pressure, so the Fortress can't get behind. He only gets the Aftershock at, around the 10-minute mark. It's super late. He's forced to buy a Metal Jacket very early on to buy that very high defensive item for a jungler. And so you want the jungler to be tanky, but now he's putting so much in just to live to D'Enzio's auto attacks. He's got to get more damage on soon, and they've got to be able to get some defense on Kongsta and Edwin as well, because they are also being melted. That fight was the first time we saw them take down D'Enzio, but it just, again, was not nearly enough to be able to turn it around.
I feel like those Malice and Verdicts, they're hitting, they're doing good AoE damage, and I feel like they were focusing on Zelciar early game, but they should have been focusing D'Enzio. And here we go, Kongsta getting a little bit of damage, Arcane Passage in, Girls on Boys, taken down pretty low, Kongsta kiting back and forth in the fight. Edwin still alive, but he had to back off. Girls on Boys taken out. Edwin, he's gone as well, but D'Enzio went too low. He was taken out by those turrets, and Kongsta is left alone to defend the base versus Zelciar and Max Green. I don't know what's gonna happen to him. Kongsta is just playing with fire right now. Zelciar throwing out these magician spells, hitting him, taking him down to about a third of his life. But we do see Max Green and Zelciar doing the smart move, and they're backing off.
Well, they're going to have to back off because they couldn't get the minion wave to push in far enough. Even though they got to reduce the barriers on those 2 turrets, didn't push in enough for them to be able to actually start doing damage to take one of them out. Good job by Kongsta. He positioned himself far enough away and in the middle to keep that minion wave pushed a little bit farther back. That just meant that Excelsior and Max Green trying to get in there, the Drifting Darkness. I mean, Samuel is going to, by nature, do a little bit of AoE damage, which means he's going to draw those attention of the turret. So, a little difficult. Good job by Rare Syndicate to keep their game alive, as it's really been all Tribe, and it's going to take a pretty spectacular fight here, a comeback fight, for Rare Syndicate to get back into this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a really difficult thing. They've only got their 2 crystal turrets remaining. The gold miner is being focused down now by the rest of Tribe, and they're just taking this gold over and over again. It's so difficult for Rare Syndicate to do anything about it. Did I just see that right? Now -1 gold each. Edwin's going so low. 536 damage upon him by D'Enzio. He's backing off, forced to go back, can't even get into the Imperial Citadel, and he is taken out. And it looks like Tribe is doing their last final push here. 641 crit damage onto these turrets. They don't even need no minions. Max Green doing what he can. Stuns up with the Trespass. And Kongsta's taken out. Girls on Boys soon to follow. Double kill. And this is a clean game. Easily closed out by Tribe. Sub 15 minutes. 20-3 right now. Woohoo!
Yeah, huge amount of damage coming out of the Baron. just unbelievable. You can't really contest it, and if you don't take him out quickly, you go down. You saw a couple fights there. They tried to focus on Excelsior, but again, once he backs up, he has that Eve of Harvest. He heals right back up. Doesn't even need a fountain to get the job done. So Tribe, they get an easy, I'd say relatively easy win here against Rare, who otherwise had looked really strong going into from last week.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Dragonborn. Look at this, the build. Oh my goodness, the build on Baron. He's got a 4-item build there, all crit minus the Sora Blade that he had to start off with. But Dienzio went 11-2, and he was just so confident, jumping in and out with those jump jets, easily getting off his double attacks. And it was just a slaughter if you really come to think about it. And Zelciar getting himself 12 assists, and not to mention 7 kills as well. Really well done by him and Tribe. And the facilitation from Max Green, 15 assists and 0 deaths. That's saying something for the guy.
Yeah, I mean, this all came down to the way they picked and countered their opposing player in the lane or in the jungle. Just look at the lane. You have a Baron going into the Vox. Baron's going to bully the Vox. If you're a very skilled Baron, if you're landing your Porcupine Mortars, you're going to constantly force the Vox into awkward positions in the lane. You're going to potentially out-farm him. In the jungle, Samuel, early on, level 2, he's going to do more damage. He's going to have more sustain than the Fortress. So even though you've got a Lyra, you're just outputting more damage right out the gate. And you know what Tribe did here that was fantastic, Sean, is they took advantage of that. Like, they didn't sit back, they didn't wait, they didn't let this farming game take place. They immediately went for the objectives early, took the other tree in early, moved up to lane, and then applied pressure within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. And that is why they were able to win so effectively early on.
Yeah, it was really smart on all fronts there. We saw the lane had a lot of pressure. They're even popping some minion candies up there as well. Dienzio, he was so far ahead of Edwin in the lane, and he was just doing so much insane damage. It was really quite insane to see. But anyway, we're going to be going into a game 2 now, and if Tribe just keeps it up with the pressure, with these, and now we have the psychological game. Rare Syndicate knows that they have got their backs against the wall now, and now they have to win twice in a row, playing a total of 3 games to be able to beat Tribe. That's a very tall task right now. Even though they are 9th seed out of 16 here, they're still, it's the Vainglory World Champions, and that's what they're going up against.
Yeah, well, the quarterfinals are still best of 3. We don't get into best of 5 until the semifinals starting on Thursday. But you're right, they've got to make a comeback here, and this would be a situation that, you have to imagine these are players that are skilled enough that they've been in positions where they have to make comebacks, they have to play after a loss, they have to keep their mental game solid in these high-stake matches, and this is something that we're going to have to see if Rare Syndicate can do. Even if they don't win this next matchup, how do they respond, how do they bounce back? Because you're right, that was a lashing.
Oh, it was a total lashing, and I feel like they've got to switch it up. And previously, I was saying maybe focus on Zelciar. He was Samuel. I would say Samuel could be a little bit squishier at times compared to a Baron, but Baron is still the slowest one, and that's what they should have been focusing on, because he has that 3.1 movement speed. He's so slow. Of course, once he gets his jump jets out, he's able to just jump in and out of fights defensively. But in Dienzio's case, he was using it just to get those double auto attacks off, and that's something they have to really look out for. Don't let that Baron through again. But at the same time, if they do ban a Baron, it's going to open it up for potential Ringo or Varia. So they have to be really careful now.
Yeah, I don't think you ban a Baron. So we're going to jump into the draft right now and see what we've got. But I think really what you do is you focus on the current meta picks. Make sure you don't give those up. I do like the Churnwalker ban in this case because, one, it's a very popular A-side ban, and it's one that does take it away from Max Green, who just played a very effective Churnwalker.
He did. He had some pretty clutch chains that were out there, just doing a lot of conferring of the damage, getting that lifesteal too. But we do see a Grace actually picked up by a Rare Syndicate. I like the Grace pickup. She's a really strong captain right now. And Varia's off the board, of course, Blackfeather as well. And we do see a Ringo picked up by Tribe. This Dienzio plays a pretty mean Ringo, and I played against him on 5v5 alpha, and he annihilated me in mid lane.
This guy, okay, I love Tribe's draft here because So often we would have seen maybe an Arden pickup with the Grace picked up first. We've seen typically a conservative, save your laner for last, because what Tribe was able to do was counter Rare Syndicate every single pick. But in this case, I think Tribe is putting so much priority on Ringo, the fact that D'Anzio can play a stellar Ringo, that they're playing a confident card. They're like, we can beat you with our Ringo, period. Nothing you can do can stop that. So what I will say is it's a little bit of a risk reward here for Tribe, because if they do play the Ringo so early like they did, Rare Syndicate now has extra time to go through the draft, think about what they want to play and counter this Ringo in the next 2 draft picks.
Yeah, they could very well do that. We could see potentially, once we get over to A side, we could see Taka picked up, and now that the Samuel has been picked up by Tribe, we're going to be, I think there's a lot of potential for Taka to be coming out. He could jump on both of these carries. They are squishy. They want to be on the back line to be kiting a little bit. And if Taka can easily get on them with the next Retsu, even apply an Atlas Pauldron to Ringo, that could be a very good counter right there.
Yeah, I think I saw someone in the chat mention that even in the last matchup, Taka might have been a better draft, and it definitely could be. What I would argue, though, is it's risky, because you've got to eliminate the Samuel right away when you go to the Taka early. You're a little bit squishy in the early game. Samuel with the Drifting Darkness, if he drifts and Malseveric's backwards in the right way, he can continue to put on damage on Taka. So it's a little risky. We'll see if Rare decides to pull it out in this case. They definitely have to contest with the fact that Excelsior just played almost near flawless Samuel, and now they've got to make sure they don't allow what happened in Game 1, where it just kind of snowballed that jungle.
Yeah, this is an interesting pickup here. I'm not sure if I necessarily like if I like the Adagio. He does have a pretty good range. He doesn't necessarily have the range advantage over the Ringo, and definitely doesn't have the empowered range advantage over the Samuel, but he can be pretty devastating if he is played weapon power in lane to kind of poke back at the Ringo that will likely be playing up there. And a Sky is picked up by Rare Syndicate. Likely, I think it's still flexible. We still have a lot of flexibility here with Adagio. He could be CP jungle. I think unlikely, but we're likely to see a CP Sky in the jungle.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated. I mean, this is a very dangerous composition. Girls on Boys is a fantastic Sky. That's a composition that's back in the meta, but now you're looking at a composition where if they don't play Weapon Grace, which I don't suspect they would, then you're almost playing either a Weapon Sky, which has not been played as frequently, or, dare I say, even less rare, but maybe possible, is a Weapon Adagio. I don't know, because anything can happen now. Rare Syndicate's draft has kind of thrown me for a loop, and I do apologize if this is something that I should know, but I haven't really seen Adagio played much this update.
No, I haven't seen him played that much this update either, Dragonborn. It's been pretty Adagio free, actually. But Arden has been played a lot here in VISPRO too, and he's pretty good at giving that pseudo healing, that barrier with his Vanguard, a lot of protection that he's able to afford his allies. So pretty good pickup by Kongsta there, and it looks like we're going to be getting into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm excited to see how this works, because we already saw the Samuel play very well. Now I'm looking at the jungle. I do like the Sky better into the Samuel. Positioning wise, can get on top of that Samuel. Samuel can't back out, and I think the damage that Sky will do, even if it goes weapon, will be tremendous into the late game. It's going to take a little bit of time to get there, just kind of like the Fortress. So it's a risky play, but I'm really worried about this lane matchup. I don't know if it's going to be the Adagio. I'm guessing it will be. And now you're talking about Ringo matchup into Adagio. I just think Ringo wins that matchup every time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Sorry, I said actually Kongsta was on Arden. It's actually Max Green. Got the team switched up a little bit there. But we're into Game 2, Rare Syndicate versus Tribe. Tribe is up 1 right now, and Rare Syndicate has their backs against the wall. What are they to do here? They need to get a 2-game reverse sweep right now. If they're able to do that, Dragonborn, it's going to be a pretty damn impressive task, if I say so myself. But it looks like we're having girls on boys here, starting as we would expect. Edwin and him in the jungle, going to be getting that extra bit of farm. And it looks like Kongsta and Max Green throwing out those charms, getting a little playful in the in the middle of the map there.
Yeah, now this is really interesting because we are seeing 2 crystal bits on the sky. I talked about, like, if it's not going to be a weapon sky, now you're starting to question, is this going to be a weapon adagio? We haven't seen a weapon adagio played in competitive play. When we do, it's infrequent. It's very infrequent, but it is not something we've seen continuously in quite some time. So I'm very fascinated to see, or we'll have a double CP. Again, another factor, another meta play that we don't typically see as often.
Yeah, it's definitely out of meta, but we do know that we have seen...
No.
Oh my goodness, here we go. And the Girls on Boys going super low. He is taken out by Max Green, no less. And Edwin next on the chopping block right there. He's going pretty low himself. Taken out by the Ringo. DNZO hunting Kongsta now. All that damage. And Kongsta gets away very well. 2 kills in less than 2 minutes.
That was,
half,
yeah, that was just completely tragic on the side of Rare Syndicate. Girls on Boys got rooted up on the Elder Treant. That was, I guess what happened was they did a little bit of damage to kind of leash it, but Girls on Boys didn't get out in time. Oh, as soon as he got rooted up, you saw Tribe capitalized on that mistake. And, you know, it's not going to change the entire course of the game, but that's putting you back behind already 1,000 gold in the first 2 minutes. And that's not where you want to start. That's not how you want to start the play. So hopefully, you know, we're not seeing the nerves of Rare Syndicate get to them here in this matchup as we start off.
And 1,000 gold behind is really bad for this composition, Dragonborn. Edwin needs to get he needs to get 2 damage items, tier 3 damage items to get online as a weapon power adagio. If he's able to do that, then he's going to be much more of a damage threat. You know, have him get a Sorrow Blade, have him get a Tornado Trigger, then he could really pump out those auto attacks, and he could really put some serious hurt on DNZO. But with them being 1,000 gold behind already, over 1,000 gold behind, it's a really difficult thing now for Edwin to be able to catch up. If you look at the lane matchup with the CS, he is only 13 to 21 for DNZO. It's not a huge difference right now, but if that continues to snowball, DNZO could have it in the bag with this Ringo.
Yeah, I would never want to play against the NCO's Ringo. He is so confident, comes out in the clutch moments here to see him going in already. And he, again,
goes in a little bit, gets that Vanguard.
But he gets out.
Gets that Vanguard, and he's able to do quite a bit of damage onto Edwin. Trading a little bit. The NZO's on the lesser end of that trade now. It looks like they're just going to go ahead back to farming. Max Green taking a bit of damage from that forward barrage. He's cutting back a little bit and just poking out there in the bush. But when do you expect them to be getting online with DNZO here? Oh, hold on a second. We have a little bit of benediction going in. DNZO trading back and forth with Edwin. Edwin's going pretty low. Those auto attacks coming out from DNZO. Taking him down, but the healing, the Gift of Fire gives Edwin a little bit of his health back. But still, DNZO keeping the aggression up in that top bush.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out, Excelsior right now, he has literally 10 CS more than Girls on Boys. So that is a huge deficit that Girls on Boys are going to have to address somehow, as he did give up, unfortunately, a bad rotation, allowed Excelsior to take a decent chunk of his farm away. And he's just going to be playing from behind for the early part of this game, so that's a rough stretch for him. In the lane, it's not nearly as bleak. It's about a 9 CS lead, but again, same problem as you having Edwin is going to be behind DNZO. And this is just going to allow Tribe to rotate very comfortably, knowing that they've got this early lead. We'll have to see just how Rare Syndicate responds. Right now, they're responding, Sean, by just being aggressive and pushing this lane up.
Yeah, they're doing that. They're trying to, but it looks like we have a Holy Nova coming out. A little bit of a stun on DeAngelo, but he is coming back, doing some damage, focusing down Irwin. They're throwing out those Malice and Verdicts on him. He's taken down. Kongsta switched to him for the targeting, but it looks like Rare Syndicate is backing off just a little bit. DNZO not giving up, throwing out that Achilles shot on the Girls on Boys, takes him down to about 25% damage. And DNZO pushing up this lane, and Excelsior doing what he does best, rotating down into the jungle, stealing away that mid treant, and looks like he's going to buy himself some items. A Dragon's Eye online for him.
Yeah, already 5 minutes. Maybe not the fastest Dragon's Eye I've seen purchased, but very quick. And he's clearly ahead of Girls on Boys, which is going to be the problem here, right? Is not that he's getting an item so early in the game, but he's doing so, which will likely be much earlier than his opponent, thanks to him denying him a decent amount of farm. So he continues to keep that 10 CS lead. In the lane, there's about a 10 CS lead as well, so You're not seeing that lead expand, thankfully for Rare, but you are seeing Tribe make sure that they are not giving up too much more to Rare. That's going to be something that, you know, Rare needs to find a wedge that they can push in and start to open up an advantage.
Oh, here we go, Dragonborn Benediction in. Death from above comes out, separating Tribe, and Excelsior going a little bit low. Hellfire Brew comes out onto Girls on Boys. He's taken pretty low. 206 crit damage coming out of Dienzio with that spell sword. It's good damage. Edwin, he's next, but he's able to use that healing potion, healing flask a little bit. They're keeping the pressure on this turret here. Zelsiar kiting around, trying to do some damage. Chip damage onto this turret. Celsior so low, will he be able to get out in time? The Vanguard, he gets away, and now we have Kongstad taken out so low. Edwin is soon to follow, and now Zelsiar on Girls on Boys taken out, and that is an ace at 6.5 minutes in, and so down goes the first turret for Tribe. 5-0 right now, Dragonborn.
I mean, you couldn't deny the fact that the bait was there. Tribe played it perfectly. You saw Excelsior drop so low, baiting Girls on Boys all the way in deep. He's like, I can get this, but a Vanguard, it squashed it completely. Said, nope, denied the kill over to Rare Syndicate. They needed it. That would have been a perfect opportunity to start to turn the fight around. But once they lost that leverage, that positioning, they completely fell apart there. They were wedge separated between the lane and the jungle, and you saw Dienzio, with no problem at all, was able to solo Edwin in the lane, take him out, then rotate down and help secure that ace.
Yeah, it was a pretty smart move by Max Green to hold that Vanguard just for the greatest opportune moment, and him throwing that off was so clutch. Was able to keep the members of Tribe alive, keep his 2 carries alive. Really well done by them, and 5-0 right now with a 4,000 gold lead. We see Max Green throwing out those charms. This is a confident captain if I've ever seen so here on VISPRO. Things are looking really good for them in this game too, and they're still maintaining the pressure here. They've got a pretty good wave actually built up right now, and it looks like they're going to be throwing it down onto this turret here. Dienzio taking a little bit of that forward barrage, but Edwin getting hit down to about half health. Oblivion actually, whoa, we got a lot of blocks off from that death from above. Oh my goodness, Dienzio, he's taken out, and so does Edwin though. Zelsiar getting that Vanguard, he's able to kite backwards, and Girls on Boys throwing out that forward barrage, kiting around, hitting Max Green, he's on the target. Zelsiar is next on the list, and Zelsiar is going low, he's taken out by, oh my goodness, Kogstar takes him out. Max Green, he's next on the list, Vanguards himself, he's kiting backwards, but he's no match for Girls on Boys. Girls on Boys following, forward barraging, not able to hit him, and the little bit of the teleport there just saying, it's okay, I'm backing off.
Yeah, healing flask right there at the end was just enough sustain to keep him alive, and Girls on Boys and Kunksa couldn't contest. Oh, but Girls on Boys didn't see Dienzio pushing it right through the lane. Deleted, and a potentially wasted ultimate from Kongstar. Double kill for Dienzio there. Oh, and Edwin, triple kill for... Triple kill.
What an amazing gauntlet. They knew they had Edwin dead to rights right there. Stunned him up with that gauntlet. Oh, Dienzio, doing it so good.
Dienzio just ruined, like, what I was going to talk about for the next minute and a half. Was just like, hey, this could be Rare Syndicate finding that wedge they needed to wedge back into this game. And Dienzio just said, nah, shut it completely down. Coming in there, very fast rotation. You know, we're only at 9 minutes. These death timers are low, so you've got to respect that. And just like that, not respecting it, another fight where Dienzio's just dominating here in the lane.
Oh, he's got to be careful though. That forward barrage doing quite a bit of damage, but that Fountain of Renewal pops, and he's going to heal him up a little bit. And a block on that Oblivion, but it doesn't matter because he goes down anyway. And a double kill. Again, another ace for Tribe.
What is this? You see a Hellfire Brew just for style points because he doesn't need it. Like, the guy is just focusing, making sure he gets the auto attacks on. And this is that spell sword Ringo that we have seen come into fame here at VISPRO.
Over and over again, we have double Tyrant's Monocle now, probably working towards a Tornado trigger next, or who knows, maybe even triple Tyrant's Monocle. Dienzio is just doing the work. Echo picked up by Arden. And man, 10 minutes in, we have 2-12 right now. And Crystal Sentry is actually taken away. Oh man, Dragonborn, what does Rare Syndicate have to do to prevent Tribe from pushing further into their base?
Well, they can't give up a fight here. They don't need the fight, but unfortunately, Tribes initiated it, and look how fast.
And here we go.
Yeah.
And Edwin's taken out by Dienzio. Quite again, double kill actually. He is just on a rampage here. Triple kill, another ace.
Wow, that's
3
game.
aces within 5 minutes. That's game right there, Dragonborn.
Could be.
We have a huge wave pushed up, and this is gonna be it.
Yeah, I mean, they may not end the game here. I say it's game because they're going to be able to push here and probably just contest by Ringo just stutter-stepping these players to death. Oh, God. I mean, yeah, this is going to be it. With Adagio down, they're going to be able to have this minion wave push in here. If Girl's on board, yeah, that's it. That's game.
That's it. Kogsta and the rest of Rare Syndicate, they just gave up right there near their healing pad. They're like, you know what, Tribe, the Vainglory World Champions, has it in the bag. What minions? What minions? We don't need no minions. Let's go ahead and take down these 2 Vein Crystal turrets, and that's it. Tribe takes this game here, the first game tonight on VISPRO, 2-0 in this first series versus Rare Syndicate. Well done by them.
This might be one of the shortest series we've actually streamed on VISPRO. I mean, we typically have delays and we have long matches, and, Tribe against a 16-seeded team last week. They struggled in the first 2 games. I mean, it was not clean.
Almost a perfect game.
And
in this game, it pretty much, isn't that the same thing that happened? Did we have 4 deaths last time, or was it? I think it was 4 deaths or 3 deaths in the previous game in this series. But geez, man, 2-18. Rare Syndicate just getting steamrolled the whole time by Tribe, and what an amazing series. And whoo, I'm hyped for the next one, Dragonborn.
Yeah, they took care of this quickly, and they did it very much ahead of schedule for us. So we're going to be getting into our next series here in a few moments, but we'll just sit and kind of reflect upon that. This is absolutely Tribe coming into their form with a sub. I mean, T-Tigers is not even playing, Sean. They are looking, this is the final week of VISPRO, and they have started up the Tribe train, and I don't see it stopping. Not the way they played here. That against a team that otherwise looked very strong last week, they have shown up and dominated over Rare Syndicate. Not even close.
Yeah, it wasn't even close at all, and it was really exciting to cast because Dienzio, man, just anything you put him on Baron, you put him on Ringo, and he's just unstoppable. I actually went into
comfort picks, by the way.
Yeah, comfort picks, and I went for him, and I went into the game actually looking at Adagio. I was just like, oh, that's Dienzio's Adagio. He's gonna be able to dominate on that too, right? Because no matter, even though he doesn't like playing weapon Adagio, he was actually up in arms about it over at Vainglory Worlds, and they still won that game that he had the weapon Adagio. So no matter what you put him on as a weapon powered hyper carry in the lane, he's just so unstoppable.
Well, the Tribe gets the win, and they have now put themselves one series closer to making the grand finals here. So we'll be watching that intently as we go through the week. Right now, we're going to be taking a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be getting into our second series, so don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back after this.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here live at the VIS desk, getting ready for our second series of the VIS Pro. You guys are watching the quarterfinals, and I'm your host, Dragonborn, joined by Sean Astino, as we'll be casting the games tonight. And Sean, we're going to be getting into our second series of the night. It is From Mars, formerly known as Team Hazard, going up against Misfits.
That's right, Dragonborn. The second series of the night, From Mars versus Misfits. Team Hazard, formerly just was known. From Mars was known as Team Hazard in the previous VIS challenge battles, and we did see them advance to the Vainglory 8. Last week, we saw some pretty strong showing from them. They actually ended up 2-0ing versus Infinity Rebirth. Really good job out of them. Hello Kitty was doing an amazing work on Blackfeather in game 1, and then once we got to game 2, we saw Hello Kitty actually devastating as Rona and went 13-2-4, diving in over and over again, and they still had all 5 turrets remaining on their side by the end of the match. It was amazing. I really enjoyed that game. And looks like we're getting into the draft now. See what these guys pick up here.
Yeah, it was exciting, so I'm very excited to see From Mars bring out their A game, although Misfits has been playing very well the last week as well, so we'll see how...
Yeah, Misfits, they had a really good game too, and it looks like Misfits is going to be on B side here, waiting on their ban. We have a Churnwalker ban coming out from Mars, and Misfits actually did a really good job. Also 2-0 fashion versus Reluctancy, who was a 12th seed. It was a very nearly perfect game 1, actually, and we saw them go 11-2 in game 1 there. And then once we hit game 2, there were lots of solid ganks from Maokai on Taka. Really, really amazing, just X-Retsuing in, doing the typical rinse and repeat for him. And he made some pretty big plays there, and that really facilitated for Jazzville to pick up a lot of kills too, as Rona. And we do see a Rona ban, actually, so she's taken off the board there.
Yeah, and Rona's interesting because this does mean we have a Varia open, and From Mars doesn't take Varia, so they take the Blackfeather instead. This means that Misfits could choose the Varia. I would be shocked if we don't see Varia picked by this next pick, because that means she almost definitely will be banned in the second round.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we don't. I hope she gets picked up right now. If she's open, that's a really good pickup for Jazzville. We saw a lot of success with it as a weapon power variant Varia last week on the first day of VIS, and I hope we see that here again. Whoa! She is in Dragonborn. Gonna see some exciting wall jumping arc recursion action tonight. Now let's see what they ban away.
Only our third game seeing Varia hit the fold, because she has been banned almost every other game. I mean, every game she's not been in, she has been banned. So she is 100% pick banned right now in Vainglory VIS Pro. We'll see, of course, if that continues throughout the championship, but so far, so good. And now Misfits on their second ban, Sean.
Yeah, they're on their second ban here. Let's see what they go ahead and ban away, but... With Varia out there, I really feel like she could go either way because she has been 50-50. But from what we've seen and the success that we've seen, I hope she goes weapon power in the lane. Grace is actually taken off the board, and that's actually, I think that's pretty smart, because we actually don't want to have Grace on the other side diving in with those benedictions and reducing the damage that we have coming out of Varia. At the same time, we don't want any Holy Novas under her to stun her up, because Varia is very immobile, and she needs to be able to kite away and be very effective at using her arc recursions to get out of there. But if she's stuck while she's channeling her arc recursion, Holy Nova'd up, then it's going to be a very difficult position that she'll be in.
Yeah, so I'm actually curious what From Mars is going to want to ban here, because you have to be, if you're From Mars, probably eyeing to get a Lyra from your draft pick. Maybe, you don't have the Churnwalker. I don't think the Arden buys you a lot. The Lyra would be great, because that bulwark will help reduce the mobility of Varia, and you get that heal and that speed buff, so nothing beats having a quick speed buff when you're trying to get on top of a very slippery Varia. They're going to ban the Cruel, but Misfits could take the Lyra here as their captain, and it wouldn't necessarily... I really think they should save that jungle pick for their last pick and take either, whatever they want to be their support. They could go with Arden here, or they could go with the Lyra, but the Lyra will at least deny it from Mars.
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty smart pick to take up the Lyra, and there we go. Denying it to the enemy team is going to twofold allow you to be able to sustain Varia a lot better with those Imperial Sigils, and at the same time, just making sure that the other team doesn't have a bright bulwark that could inhibit a lot of their arc recursions coming out of Varia, which would prevent escape from her and also prevent damage reduction. But it's in this side, you know, it's going to be going over to Misfits, and they're going to be healing up this Varia a lot and preventing a lot of dive potentially from the members of from Mars. But we'll have to see about that. See what they pick up next. Taking quite a bit of time here.
Yeah, I think Lyra was that pick that would have been somewhat of an Achilles heel to Varia, so very impressive decision to actually pick that up. And again, you're left with what I would argue is the next best thing, which is Arden. I mean, from a support and captain point of view, he really does provide a lot of mobility, a lot of positioning help, as well as a lot of crowd control. We'll see if that could really do a good job locking the Varia down. I think the Lyra would have done better, so, you know, good job by Misfits identifying that. And now from our have to make a very risky decision is what they're going to go into jungle, because they're not going to get the last say on this. And so this is something that if they pick something a little too squishy, Misfits could look to counter.
Now, Dragonborn, did you say 2Gs was who will be playing? Is that
yeah? It's do you know shot? LOL? So do you know LOL? Or,
AKA nicest shot?
Yeah, nicest shot. Do you know why LOL? Now he's 2Gs. We'll just say GG.
Yeah, we'll just say GG.
GG.
Ringo
double
picked
Gs.
up double Gs. It looks like Ringo is actually picked up by From Mars on their last pick there, and that's going to be Hello Kitty.
I mean, the way the draft was going, Sean, you almost forget that Ringo was available just because, you know, with the Varia picked up, the Black Feather picked up, you're already looking at two very powerful picks in either team. Now you're looking at, like, all right, what are they going to play? So Black Feather, Crystal Black Feather, the jungle, I like this pick. I like the idea of potentially having that Ringo in the lane, that they could go CP flex that Crystal Black Feather into a Weapon Black Feather. But again, I like this. This gives a little bit of flexibility from Mars, and it puts a little bit of pressure on Misfits to guess what's going to be coming out. So they're going to go with the Taka here, which I do like as well. Very strong burst, and as you can see, there's very little stun. There's not a lot of crowd control, so this Taka should have a pretty easy time pushing the backline.
Yeah, he definitely could jump onto that Ringo very, very easily here. And if he's able to do that, you know, do the typical combo with him, X Retsu in, Chitin over the top, and Kaku away, there could be a lot of harass coming out of Misfits. And it's going to be a very tall task for, well, you know, Varia, she's still an unknown in some ways. Like, even though we have seen a lot of playmaking ability from her, she still has a 50% win rate right now, and a 0% win rate as that CP Varia. So if we go weapon power where we've seen some success, it could be a pretty devastating thing for Jazzville here on Varia. And if he is not shut down, and Hello Kitty doesn't and if Hello Kitty gets shut down, then we could see Misfits actually pulling out a win here in game one.
Absolutely. I mean, I would have to say that the skewedness in the win rate for Varia in VISPRO has a lot to do with the teams that have been able to get Varia. We saw one time that Crystal Varia was given to a team of much lower seed. So there's a lot of factors that could have resulted into that loss, and it was likely not the Varia, to be honest. So definitely something to consider when you look at that win rate. Overall, we do expect Varia to be a very powerful pick here. She is a very powerful pick in the fold when played with even skill. And I would say with the seeding of a 4th seed and a 5th seed, this is about as even as it gets. So as we jump into the fold here real quickly, Sean, this is definitely something that I think Misfits have a strong draft and could get this victory, because I just love if they put the pressure on early.
Yeah, definitely Dragonborn. And here we are in game number 1 of the series, Misfits versus From Mars. And Varia on the fold for Jazzville on Misfits. And it's going to be a pretty exciting time out here. We see the heroes, Maokai and Jazzville, on these two, starting off in the jungle, getting that level 2 experience as quickly as they can. And the captains, 2Gs, and Ali Peterson out there in the middle of the map trying to scout each other out.
We do see early on 2 Weapon Blades on Hello Kitty and 2 Crystal Bits on Erica Kane, so that almost definitely indicates the path builds they're going. But we've got a contest on the Treant. Does go over to From Mars, Sean, but already Misfits looking to be aggressive.
Yeah, they're looking to be aggressive, and still we did see that actually get stolen away. Pretty good for them to be able to pick that up right there, because every little edge is necessary for From Mars to be able to stand up against Misfits. And Misfits was one of those Vainglory 8 teams that actually got knocked down into the challenge zone, am I right? And they didn't make it back into the Vainglory 8. So From Mars here, now a Vainglory 8 team, and it's going to be very interesting to see this matchup here on VISPRO. But we do see those Chain Lightnings coming out from Jazzville, doing quite a bit of damage. Imperial Sigil doing some chunk on Jazzville as well. He's going pretty low. Fountain comes out. Ali Peterson has to throw Art Recursion, actually. Oh, man! Hello Kitty taken out by some Chain Lightning, and it's Jazzville and Misfits taking first blood.
And already we're seeing it. Of course, it looks like it's going to be a weapon path here in Jazzville. The weapon Varia really starting to come into its own as a meta comp. And, you know, we've heard rumblings that it was starting to come into fruition. We, of course, got to see it play, but very impressive. But Jazzville, got to be careful.
Oh, Mars going so low, and he's taken out by another auto attack from Jazzville. Those arc recursions are just doing so much work for him right now. And if I may say, I expect to see a Sorrow Blade coming up for him. Ali Peterson down there in the jungle, taking out that Treant along with Maokai, and he picks up that mid-Treant experience and gold.
Yeah, I think honestly, just a mistake by From Mars to allow that Varia going over to the B side. That I don't think we've ever seen Varia not get banned on B side and then get picked by B side. So surprising turn of events there that just came out of the draft. So what that means is you really have From Mars playing from somewhat of a big hole here from the draft perspective, hero composition, really favoring Misfits. And so far, they are executing on this composition the way you'd expect to. 3 kills up, they've got a little bit of a gold lead, and they're looking to potentially, as they scale into more items, put on a lot more pressure. The Varia, once it builds that Sorrow Blade, is going to be looking for a fight.
Oh, absolutely. Once she gets that, that's going to be a huge item power spike for her. And 150 weapon power is nothing to scoff at, even if it's a CP hero that relies on CP scaling here. But that's the good thing about it too, is that not only do you have the weapon power coming out, but you also have CP damage coming out of her as well with those auto attacks. And it's going to be something to be feared right now. So From Mars is just going to have to prioritize their shielding and their armor as well to be able to hold back against Jazzville and the rest of Misfits. And I feel like Misfits just needs to facilitate for Jazzville in order to keep him alive.
Yeah, absolutely. We will have to see how Mars is going to play as we go into the mid part of this game here in a few minutes. As we're approaching the 5-minute mark, Goldminer's starting to pick up some heft. And we still haven't seen Erica Kane build his tier 3, which will be that Aftershock just yet. Still focusing on farming and playing a fairly cautious game because you could see, you know, he's just making sure he could stay a little bit ahead of the Taka, which so far he has done successfully.
If you look at that, Dragonborn, just like you were saying, that Sorrow Blade is online. They haven't quite found the fight they want to yet. But Jazzville is just there waiting in the lane. If Hello Kitty gets in a bad position, we could see a lot of damage coming out onto him. And there we go. Some of the Chain Lightning taking about 20% of his health away, keeping up the pressure a little bit. Misfits, they want to fight here, and here we go. X-Retsu in, Chitin over the top, takes out Hello Kitty. He's down. He's going to have to respawn at base. And this wave is pushing up here. Jazzville staying on the back line. Maokai doing what he does as this. Taka doing Erica Kane, mortal wounds on him, taken down so low. And now Maokai rotates down into the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, rotates down, but he's going to come right back up. Misfits have this link pushed up. Sean, there's just nothing stopping them right now, and you've got a full health Hello Kitty, but I'm not sure that's enough to push them in, as it looks like they're going to get another kill here, and in just 5 minutes, Misfits are looking like the better team in Game 1.
They're looking like the better team indeed, and there's already some chip damage going onto this turret here, Dragonborn. But Hello Kitty's putting the pressure on Jazzville. He's forced to kite backwards, and the Hellfire Brew is being channeled. It's onto him, but the fire burning is blocked, so some of the damage gets blocked off. Anvil's Hammer now doing a bit of chip damage onto Hello Kitty and 2Gs. But Ali Peterson and Maokai waiting there in the bush, trying to be a little bit sneaky. And looks like Mars is just going to have to regroup at base, pick up some items.
Absolutely. Going to slow it down a little bit. We do see Erica Kane getting that Aftershock online right before that fight, but Maokai's got his as well, plus 2 weapon blades. John, aggressive push. They do get the turret.
Yeah, they take the turret. Really well done by Maokai. Just X-Retsuing in there, and now they're backing off a little bit. Mars feels like they can put a little bit of pressure on this turret here, and they've pushed up their wave pretty well, and they could siege it up pretty strongly here. Ali Peterson going a little bit low. Jazzville taking a few hits from Hello Kitty. He's forced to back off a little bit, but he's still pretty healthy. Same with Hello Kitty, and it looks like From Mars is going to be rotating down into the jungle. Maokai stealth right now, but gets spotted out. A little bit of blood for blood in his face, and Erica Kane steals away. Actually, Hello Kitty steals away that mid-treant there, and he takes away the fronts from Misfits as well.
This would be such sweet revenge for Misfits if they could start to look to take this series. Hazards was a team, now known as For Mars, who did a lot of impressive games in the original Challengers from Autumn season, and they are actually a team that gave Misfits a really hard time. Misfits weren't able to get over that hump, so they weren't able to make it into the challenge battles as a result. If they could come in here, and if they could take a victory off Hazards, or now known as From Mars, this would be a huge confidence boost going into this brand new season, because this roster, they have stuck together, Sean. They have made very little changes, continuing to just find synergy, and that is such an important thing. It's so underappreciated in the Vainglory scene, where we see players move around oftentimes very frequently, and this roster of Misfits, they're trying to show that indeed staying together, building synergy, learning the game, improving is what builds a winning roster.
It absolutely is, and that Hellfire Brew is actually being channeled. So much damage on the Jazzville. He's taken down to half health, but there's a lot of Chain Lightning as well coming out. Anvil's Hammer now hitting the members of Mars, and they're able to back off a little bit, but you know what? Maokai says, I'm going to come on in with my X-Retsu, doing a lot of damage onto 2Gs. He's stealthing back and forth. Now Jazzville's going pretty low, and he's taken out by the Ringo. Hello Kitty doing so much damage. Double kill onto Maokai. Ali Peterson.
No.
Oh, no. Triple kill by Hello Kitty.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, right now, unbelievable performance from Mars there in that engagement. Great gauntlet place, and you know what? They put the gauntlet shortly after that Arcane Passage went down, basically making it near impossible for the side of Misfits to get out of that fight. They made it really annoying, and honestly, Misfits thought they could take it. They stayed in the gauntlet. They said, all right, we can get this fight, but they couldn't get it once it turned around. Hello Kitty has his spell sword, has his breaking point, so if you don't take him out right away, those breaking point stacks are going to start stacking very quickly. The damage is going to ramp up, and next thing you know it, you're going to be deleted, and that's exactly what happened from Mars. Now, that's a huge fight to turn around, because, Sean, they start turning these fights around, this game is going to go sideways for Misfits.
Oh, it sure is. Jazzville has actually fallen behind in levels right now, but they're both evenly matched with their CS, 91 to both Jazzville and Hello Kitty. But now we have 3 kills on Hello Kitty versus Jazzville's 2 kills. So this is a really difficult situation for Jazzville and the rest of Misfits to be in. They know they need to protect Jazzville, and Maokai has got to be really careful. We know that Taka wants to go in. He wants to be able to X-Retsu in onto the back line. But at the same time, I feel like they've really got to protect Jazzville, because if they keep focusing him down, then From Mars could have a really good game for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they're already starting to turn it around. I really thought that Weapon Varia getting out ahead, like we saw it going on right now with Misfits in the early part of this game, I thought that was going to be Misfits being able to just start snowballing, but instead, a big mistake in the engagement of the turret. Now, we are going to see another fight.
Arcane Passage in. Ali Peterson's going pretty low. Maokai comes in. The Gauntlet comes down. And Hello Kitty's kiting out of the Gauntlet. He's doing so much damage. Someone needs to get on him. Varia takes him out. Jazzville doing the work. Ringo is dead. He's going to have to respawn at base. Maokai takes out the Ardent 2Gs. He's down for the count. And now Maokai not giving up. He's going in mortal wounds onto Erica Kane. And he's going to have to back off and get himself some of that mid-tree. And Goldminer going to be going over. Oh, you know what? Ali Peterson's keeping the pressure on. And there's the Goldminer going over to Misfits.
Yeah, not going for the ace is the great call. They want to get an objective off of that team fight, and that was a great team fight for Misfits. We talked about not wanting to see From Mars gain momentum, because if you do, you're going to completely eliminate that advantage you brought and you built in the early part of this game with this Varia. And now, a great fight, getting that gold mine. You're starting to bring this gold back into a reasonable amount. They were actually down by 1,000 and so, and now they're looking to work their way back. We got another fight breaking out, Sean.
Oh yeah, Ali Peterson's going pretty low, and he's taken out, executed by Erica Kane, and now Varia's going low himself. Taka takes out Hello Kitty, and the, oh my goodness, double kill by Erica Kane. What's going to happen here? Maokai, he's still pretty healthy, kiting backwards, doing the damage, stealth, and oh no, he's spotted out a little bit, but Heartthrob stacks on him. Oh man, not enough. That on point wasn't enough to finish him, and he's going to go ahead and back off to safety. Two for one trade there. Coming out, actually 1-for-1 trade there, actually coming out. Whew, from Misfits.
Good fight for From Mars actually in this, because this could have gone the other way. Very quickly you started to see them pull out the damage, but as soon as Jazzville went down, it was a 1v1 versus Blackfeather and Taka. And if you don't get those on points, you're gonna see a Blackfeather start to get melted, but he did. And in fact, Maokai was fairly full health until a very critical on point hit him, brought him down, put that huge barrier on Erica Kane. Erica Kane, realizing the barrier was about to drop, backs away. Taka's trying to run away, so again, just really a good way to stop the fight from going back in favor of Misfits, from keeping that Taka from re-engaging. Erica Kane on this Blackfeather, if he has a strong game, this is a chance for him to show that he can carry this game on his shoulder. You've got a Ringo in the lane who you expect to be that hard carry, but you've got to make sure you've got the sustain going on the Blackfeather. You've got to hit your on points consistently in these fights, because if you go down early, you are going to leave Hello Kitty vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. They can be very vulnerable. Maokai is actually sitting on 4-1-1 right now, so he is doing the work that Jazzville is not able to pick up. We do see Misfits still in the lead right now with kills, but we do see one turret apiece. Oh, Ali Peterson blocks off that Hellfire Brew. That initiation was not meant to be, and it looks like Mars is going to be going after that gold mine. I'm interested to see if we get -1 gold again here, Dragonborn, because I saw one earlier at that last gold miner take, and I'm wondering if we're going to be able to see anybody get gold. So we do see -1 gold, but there is gold going into the pockets of From Mars, and thankfully
they're not losing gold. It's not a net loss. That would be absolutely all the work to get a gold miner and to lose it. Now, that's not what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a bug here that we're seeing on the spectator client. So don't worry. We'll actually probably get this reported and hopefully see a chance to get that fixed. But, Sean, this is an interesting game, because even though the kills are in favor of Misfits, the gold is still in favor of From Mars, and we're seeing these team fights start to swing in the favor of From Mars as well. Looking at the items, you're seeing a third item getting close to being built by Erica Kane, whereas Ataka, he is just finished. He's working on his second. You're seeing the Ringo is into 2.5 items, so a little bit behind Jazzville, where Jazzville definitely has his 3 items already built, but look at the defense Ringo's built. Hello Kitty, that improvement on the CS over Jazzville. His itemization defensively is very strong. So really, when you look at the matchup right now, Jazzville looking to be able to outlast the Varia here, at least for the early part, until Jazzville builds some more defense. I'm sorry, until Hello Kitty outlast the Varia. I think I said Jazzville. I don't know.
Check this out, Dragonborn. We have a weapon fusion actually picked up by Jazzville right now. And not only that, but he has 3 weapon power tier 3 items online, Breaking Point and Bonesaw in tow. And Ali Peterson initiates. We have Maokai going in. He's doing a lot of damage with those that typical rinse and repeat, and the gauntlet comes down.
Goodness.
Woo, baby! Erica Kane double kill, and they're hunting Maokai. Is he going to be able to get out of there? It's a 3v1 situation. Can he get out? The sentry's not doing enough to help him out, but we have a Hellfire Brew hitting him, chunking him down. Those on points from Erica Kane are doing massive damage. And is he going to be able to kill him? Titan's over the top. Fountain, but he's dead anyway. And it's an ace for From Mars. Crystal Sentry, going to be a little delicious snack for them.
Oh, this was just a poor timing on the side of Misfits. You had an infusion on Hello Kitty still, but it was very close to expiring. And they engaged that fight. They wanted that fight because you did see the infusion popped in the Varia. But I don't think it was the fight they needed. They need to wait just a little bit longer, force Hello Kitty to have to think about shopping. You push him down into the shop, you've got better positioning, you've got the high ground, maybe you turn that fight better around. Instead, you're in a very tight corridor. The Arden has a perfect gauntlet to trap you in there, and then the Ringo starts building those breaking point stacks. And, you know, he hit 10 stacks pretty quick, and you're talking about a huge amount of damage coming out of the Ringo early, and he still had that infusion. I think Misfits probably could have tried to at least push them down the shop, maybe block them from getting to the shop, but instead it didn't work out. And now Mars, they are pushing with a Kraken, and they're going to be pushing aggressively here, looking for another engage.
And here we go. Ali Pearson's going pretty low. He's taken down to about half health. This Kraken is hitting that choke point turret with everything she's got. Maokai focusing it down. So is Jazzville. They're trying to kill the Kraken off, but you know what? That choke point turret is down now. We're giving a little bit of a chase. Maokai down to about half health. He kitens away. Kitens back. And you know what? Erica Kane still alive and healthy. Same thing with Hello Kitty. We're throwing out these twirling silvers here from Hello Kitty. Vanguard onto him. Jazzville, is he going to be able to take him out? Hello Kitty's taking a few those shots. And Jazzville, oh, he's so close to dying, but he gets onto the healing pad in the fountain. Woo, baby! Erica Kane is down for the count. Oh, man, 2G's getting really hurt, and so is Hello Kitty. He's taken out. 2G's in a really delicate situation there. He's going to have to get out, but Maokai, who is on the chase while the Kraken is still in the base, but the Kraken has just been killed by Jazzville, and oh, no, he's getting spotted out. 2G's getting hit up by that from Anvil's hammer. Oh, man, he is going to be X-Retsu to death very, very shortly.
He's not going to be able to get out of there.
Actually, he got Chitin to death, and there you go.
Yeah, so they get the ace. That's very unfortunate for the side of From Mars to give up that ace. I think we should have seen Hello Kitty and 2G's just disengage, let them finish the turret. But Hello Kitty, he had some stacks. He was like, I'm just going to go in and take out that turret. But, you know, the Kraken was too low. Kraken started to drop down. They were engaging fights on the top end of that sanctuary, so they weren't able to push Misfits down far enough, giving up a kill so early. They weren't able to secure that kill on Jazzville. He got into the sanctuary. So at that point, sometimes you just need to cut your losses. They were going to get that first crystal turret. I think you just take the first turret on there. You've got one turret to go. Don't give up the ace like you just did. And now you've basically given Misfits some dominance here in the jungle, some control. They've got some mapping. They've got some scout traps. You're going to have to play with them seeing you enter the jungle so they have an opportunity to be the initiators in the next team fight. And now you're also giving them over some gold that you don't need to give over, giving over an ace, giving over the Kraken. Got to be careful here From Mars. The Misfits, they are hungry for a win.
Yeah, From Mars has given Misfits a lot of gold, and that's allowed them to, well, the Hellfire Brew doing a little bit of chip damage there, but they're going to heal that up pretty nicely. And you don't want to have Maokai and Ali Peterson complete their builds. We have an Echo now online for Ali Peterson. If he's able to do some double Imperial Sigils, double Bright Bulwarks, that could really slow up the members of From Mars, and 2G's won't be able to do a lot of his movement abilities. He won't be able to do gauntlets. He won't be able to do vanguards. And we have the initiation here. Anvil's hammer coming down, able to spot out members of From Mars.
Yeah,
but it looks like we have a lot of vision replaced by From Mars.
Exactly. So interestingly enough, Misfits had a large amount of scout traps here in the jungle, but instead it's From Mars who are initiating these fights. Got that Hellfire Brew to come out early to push them back. There's still that scout trap up by the Kraken, and you have to imagine Misfits are going to want to come down here and reclaim some vision control before they look for the next fight. But From Mars, I really think want this next fight, and they're going in.
Oh, they're going in. Ali Peterson engages, and she's actually taken out by Erica Kane. Erica Kane's going pretty low. Blocks gets that Rose defensive out of there. And you know what? He's actually taken out too. Jazzville doing the work. Double kill for him. He's going so low. Will Blood for Blood be able to finish him off? And can he get away with an arc recursion? He doesn't have it up. He's just slowly walking away, and he's shut down. But you know what? Maokai going in with that X-Retsu. Kiting over the top, doing some auto attacks. And the Vanguard, not quite enough to save him. And it's an ace coming out for Misfits.
Now there is a great example of where Weapon Varia does fall a little bit short. Doesn't have any crystal regen items like an Eve of Harvest or a Clockwork. And so, you use those abilities, you run out of energy. And now, you're kind of stuck. That Arden saw the opportunity. Good job by 2G's. But unfortunately, it does mean he's given up the ace. So you can see up there in the lane, that's a wave of minions. It's going to be like 2 full minion waves getting in there. Might be able to put a little bit of damage on that turret. We'll actually take a quick look. Yeah, that turret, he's not going to go down, Sean, but it is going to get very low.
Yeah, it's super low now, so that's going to make it a lot easier. If they do take this Kraken, they're going to get a buffed minion wave, and it's going to be able to push that turret down, probably even before the Kraken gets over there. But the question is, will they be able to contest it? Misfits, they know that this is happening. They have a scout trap right there, so they've got to be able to contest this right now. And here they go. They're coming in, initiating with the ultimate from Jazzville. Jazzville's chasing them away. Erica Gain's going pretty low, and now the engage. Woo! Maokai taken out. The Erica Kane. Hello Kitty's going pretty low too, and he's taken out by Jazzville. And it's only 2 Gs. 2 Gs. Maybe small Gs now, because he's not going to be able to exclamate anything. That Kraken is going to be going over to Misfits. Jazzville taking the smart route and going up into the lane, taking down that turret. And now there's only 3 turrets remaining for from Mars.
This is going to be a huge push, Sean. They're going to get this Kraken as soon as they secure it, but Jazzville not wasting any time, looking for an opportunity to take 2 turrets without having to give up a Kraken. This is important, guys. When you take these turrets out ahead of time, it gives the Kraken way more health as he marches into base. So you don't want to allow from Mars to engage on your Kraken early to bring it down, but what it does mean is Kraken's not going to have to worry about taking out those turrets, slowing him down, and also dealing with that burst damage that comes out of those turrets when they explode. Kraken takes a sizable amount of damage when that happens, so looks like Misfits, Sean, are going to be pushing with this Kraken the whole way, and now it's really From Mars who are on the back foot.
And you know what? From Mars has actually done a really big disservice to themselves. They've let Jazzville get full build on this Varia. And not only that, but she also picked up some war treads. That's going to allow for some extra tankiness and engage potential if they want to dive in. And they really want to dive in here. But Jazzville doing so much work, throwing out those chain lightnings attacks. But we also see the Bright Bulwark come out. Oh no, they've got to be careful right there. Jazzville, Arc Recursion's backwards. Erica Kane is on the chase. Actually takes him out. Jazzville is down. Allie Peterson has the Arcane Passage away. But they're on point, doing so much work. And that's it. Executed down. Double kill for Erica Kane. The turret is destroyed. 1 crystal turret remaining for From Mars. Maokai able to avoid the ace, and he gets out.
Yeah, good job by Maokai here. You got to give a lot of credit. Don't give up the ace. Cut your losses. Taka being a little bit more flexible and slippery to be able to go in, do damage on the turret, and still get out alive. But he's got to be careful. Giving up the ace there was not giving up the ace there was a little bit of a saving grace. But the death timers are a little long, and you're seeing From Mars, they are looking for an opportunity. They might be able to close out the game here. They don't got a minion wave pushing up with them, so they're going to have to put some damage on quickly, and you're going to see Taka try to stop them. Oh my goodness, this could be the end of the game.
This could be it. There's only 1 member there. Varia comes in. She's throwing out their damage, but you know what? It's too low. It's too late. There we go. Jazzville not able to stop them, and From Mars takes the game.
Woo! What a series so far. From Mars, I mean, you knew this one was going to be close, Sean, but to end like that, Misfits were so close for coming back into this game. They had been down from the mid-game on, really struggling into From Mars in these team fights, and they had the Kraken push. They didn't need to overextend. Unfortunately, Varia went down very early, Sean, and that huge problem. You saw him kind of get blown up, got stunned up on the gauntlet. You've got to block that sooner. I mean, Allie Pearson needed to get that Crucible in. That might have saved Jazzville's life. It might have actually prevented From Mars from closing out the game.
Yeah, that Crucible wasn't well timed. They did have it drop right on both of their heads, actually. Had Allie Peterson been positionally in a little bit of a different spot, maybe he didn't get stunned up as well. That would have been a game changer right there. But, you know, thanks to his tankiness, he was able to survive and die shortly afterwards. But Jazzville, we know that Varia is so squishy. She's got to be able to remain on the back line. And with her cooldowns not being reduced as much because she went the weapon power variant, that's where we saw the arc recursions not becoming as impactful as they would have had it been maybe clockwork on there for Jazzville as this Varia.
Right. Really kind of a bursty comp. You want to get in there. You want to do a lot of damage very quickly. And you saw that, you know, once his energy was drained, he also didn't, you know, having the war treads instead of journey boots meant that he didn't have his boots up as frequently. So the mobility was also decreased. And I would argue that I don't think the war treads were a good purchase in that case. You really want to focus on your mobility, your survival overall. And I know, you know, you didn't have your captain with war treads yet, but you've got got Sigil. I mean, that's a little bit of a speed enhancement for the whole team. I think you play around that, but you get yourself some Journey boots. Regardless, that is a real heartbreaker for Misfits. They had a couple opportunities to start to come back into that game, maybe even win it. But again, poor timing to go down that early. And Taka by himself against 3 men wasn't enough to hold back the tide. And, From Mars come rushing in there for that victory.
Yeah, From Mars, and well-deserved by them. They were able to capitalize, and we didn't see Ringo actually making quite the impact that I would have expected he make. He did have a lot of assists, actually, and what we actually saw was just Eric Kane doing so much work with that Black Feather. The Crystal Power variant really surprisingly good against Varia because he was able to hit with those on points, get himself a barrier to reduce the incoming damage from Varia, which was a lot of damage, and once he got her down to pretty low health, he was able to execute so many times over. It was almost like rinse and repeat for Eric Kane.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for the side of Misfits that they, couldn't get the Ringo out early when that fight, and honestly taking so much damage, the Varia specifically, devastating indeed. It looks like we're ready to get into draft for game number 2, so we're not going to really pause for much. We're going to get into this right away and get going because, I don't know about you, Sean, but I'm excited to see this matchup. This could be going to 3 games. These two teams are so even. That series, or that game we just watched in the first game of the series, if that's an indication of how the rest of this series is going to go, we are in for a long one.
We are in for a long one and for a treat as well, Dragonborn. And here we get into second draft for this series. Oh man, Misfits versus From Mars. Now we have we got the A side ban, actually Black Feather taken off the board. They don't want to deal with that anymore.
Oh yeah, Crystal Black Feather, Weapon Black Feather, doesn't matter how you play Black Feather. Black Feather is a very strong pick, and you expect From Mars to not make the same mistake that they made, either banning the Varia. They're not going to get the Varia on a B side, because even though Misfits didn't win the game with Varia, you have to imagine that was just a few mistakes on Misfits side to result in that loss. Really, Varia is still a very strong pick, and From Mars rightly respecting that.
Yeah, they take it off the board. They don't want to deal with CP or Weapon Power Varia. Churnwalker comes out, one of those priority captain picks that we've been seeing a lot here in VISPRO. Very strong front line, and of course he can do a lot of repositioning and stunning up once he's able to get to that late game and get his trespass online.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Varia's got a 33% win rate here in VISPRO. Not the kind of win rate that we are seeing in the rest of the queuing and public ranking and whatnot. Just for some reason, Varia not getting the results that you would expect. And a lot of this has to come down to coordination by the opposing teams, dealing with the Varia, respecting the Varia pick. So,
Rona picked up by From Mars, and we've seen Rona do some really good work here in VISPRO this season too. And of course, the buffs to Serpent's Mask have been really helpful in some of the nerfs that she's gotten. They've been able to overcome that. Baptiste taken off the board, and they don't want her to be locked down.
Yeah, Baptiste, a good jungle controller. So, you're looking at Rona. You're going to want to kind of isolate some counters to that. I would say Grace would be another one. So you might actually see From Mars pick up Grace as a support. We saw Misfits pick up the Lyra in the same manner to say, hey, we're going to protect the Varia. We don't want a Lyra to counter her, so we'll pick the Lyra. And I think From Mars might apply the same strategy here. We'll see what Misfits bans out. But if you're Misfits, you really don't want to ban anybody that does stunts, because you've got Churnwalker. You're going to want to follow that up, I think, with some additional crowd control. And that's a great way to counter that Rona. But From Mars is scary with this Rona pick, Sean. So this is a matchup that I think From Mars is excited about.
Yeah, Rona's been very scary overall, but I agree with you. If they're able to get more CC on Misfits and just augment what we already see here on Churnwalker, then it's going to be something that can be chained onto Rona to just prevent her from jumping in with those into the frays or jumping out even. And her red mist too, if they can stop those red mists, prevent her from getting that fortified health. We actually see a Lyra taken off the board. And now it's on to the pick for From Mars.
It is interesting. I think From Mars picks the Grace here.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if they let the Grace... No, wait, what am I saying? Yeah, I mean, there's already a turn marker picked. Oh, my goodness. Blanking here. But I still think you want to pick the Grace. You do want a healer. They do go with the Arden instead. So, honestly, Arden was the only other option. But I think the Grace gives a little bit more sustain. And that barrier that Grace puts up, you know, it reduces damage in a way that I think, you know, might be worth considering better than the Arden's Vanguard even.
Well, I feel like it depends. You have a good point, but it depends on what we have Misfits pick up in further carries, actually. Because Rona, you know, it's really interesting because the damage mitigation for the Vanguard, I feel like is pretty... It's got some oomph to it as well. And not only that, but with Rona, she likes to dive in. She likes to get on the back line, focus down those carries. And with Arden's Vanguard, they could really get her in there. And we do have someone who's going to be dancing around these fights. And if a Vanguard is any help to Rona to get to this sky, that's pretty good from what I see from Mars.
Yeah, I do like the Sky. Sky is a great pick in Rona because it's a great way to move around what is otherwise a very, you know, in-your-face kind of hero. This is a brawler. This is a front-lining hero. You want to deal with the Rona, and wow, Lorelei. So this is likely... I don't think it's a weapon Lorelei. I actually am not familiar with anything but CP Lorelei, so correct me in the chat if I'm wrong here. But... I thought we were seeing a support Churnwalker, and the Lorelei pick has to be like a CP Lorelei, right?
I agree with you, Dragonborn. It's got to be CP Lorelei. She's actually, as of 2.11, she's had a lot of, not necessarily buffs or nerfs, but she's had big changes to her kit where if she goes the CP route, she has a longer... I actually want to say it's more damage that comes out of her abilities, and then she gets more. If she goes captain route, she gets more speed. It's HP scaling ratio with her B ability, and her A ability, Fish Food, does get a quicker stun or longer stun duration as well. I'm actually kind of blanking. It's been a while since I've seen those update notes, but there's some interesting changes to her kit, and it looks like we have a lot of time being taken. But we do see From Mars picking up that Koshka, and Koshka gonna be in the jungle. Just if she can actually get, you know, early snowball going on versus the Sky, that's gonna be a very interesting matchup. But at the same time, Sky, if she's going, you know what, actually, well, it depends if she's going jungle or if she's going weapon power Sky, because it's still up in the air for me, actually, Dragonborn. What do you think?
I agree. Definitely don't know how this guy and Lorelei are going to go. This is a little bit new for me. An interesting look. I'm very curious. This is kind of risky by Misfits, but maybe this is a card that they've had deep underneath their sleeve for this moment. I mean, you have to imagine that Misfits here, they're hungry. They really want to take a game off of Hazards. They'd love to take this serious because this is personal for them. This is an organization, and specifically this team, who have really clawed their way and made a huge name for themselves in the Vainglory competitive scene as a solid team, and one that, you know, I don't think wants to be known as a second-rate team. They want to get that prestigious Vainglory 8 spot someday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Dragonborn. Looks like we're loading onto the Halcyon Fold now. We do see Jazzville actually picking up Crystal Sky. Well, looks like we're not getting into the client, actually.
Yeah, just a quick second here. Oh, wait.
A little bit.
I think they
switching a little. Erica Kane has a little bit of an issue there, it looks like.
Yeah, that's an interesting issue. Can't say I've encountered that specific issue before.
Yeah. And it looks like he's probably ready to go now.
All right. There we go. Sorry about that. Slight delay here getting into the game. And once we do, I'm excited to see this matchup. Could be our last game of the night, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys are tuning in to day 1 of the quarterfinals. Make sure you guys follow us and tune in the rest of the week. Quarterfinals will continue tomorrow, along with the semifinals, and the grand finals will be on Saturday, 2 hours earlier than the start time. We'll actually be starting at 4 p.m. Pacific, so a little bit in the afternoon, but early enough so you can grab some dinner and enjoy it. But all right, we are finally jumping into this matchup, so let's get right into it, Sean, as we do game number 2 between Misfits and From Mars.
That's right, Dragonborn. Game number 2 between Misfits and From Mars. From Mars, 1 up in the series. Misfits with their backs against the ropes. Will they be able to get out of this situation? Perhaps get 2 games in a row, reverse sweep, and win this series. If they don't, they're going to be eliminated from VISPRO this winter season. And we've got the teams starting as usual, as expected here. From Mars going ahead to have their carries rotate through the jungle, get that level 2 as per usual. We have Maokai and Jazzville doing the same thing on their side of the jungle, and looks like they're taking early advantage and going after that Treant, and they're going to be able to take it. That Treant's going over, and oh my gosh, the engage. Hello Kitty doing tons of damage here onto Jazzville. He's going pretty low. Chains are out. Erica Kane going pretty low as well. Will he be able to get out of this alive? Hello Kitty goes so low, taken out. Oh my goodness, the Sky, Jazzville doing so much work here, 2Gs. He gets serious strike, and he's getting auto-attacked to death. Will he be able to get out of there into the bush? The Ford Barrage, he's just staying alive, but you know what? Jazzville takes him out anyway. 2-for-1 trade there in the jungle at 1 minute and 30 seconds in. Misfits has the reins for the moment.
Impressive play coming out here early. Now they got that Elder Treant. That's a huge factor in that early engage. And I don't know why From Mars thought that they could go in there. I mean, they didn't focus one hero. Jazzville gets very low, but Erica Kane's trying to take out Maokai. You've got Hello Kitty trying to go in on Jazzville. So they already split up their damage. They didn't focus. And then on top of that, you've got a heal coming in that's keeping Jazzville alive. You've got that sustain. So you're playing from behind the 8-ball at that point, Sean. Not a smart call from Mars. They're going to have to clean this up, but we've already seen that they can play from behind.
Oh no, look at that. We actually have Maokai getting rooted up by that Elder Treant. That is going over to Jazzville once again, and he's just doing so much damage with that Series Strike.
It's the kill of Maokai, though.
Taking out Erica Kane, really well done. Yeah, Maokai did go down in that engagement, and that's what I actually don't like about this CP jungle Lorelei. I feel like she has a pretty slow clear when it comes to jungling, but Hello Kitty up there in the lane doing a little bit of damage onto Ali Peterson. He's chained up. He's going to go ahead and back off there. Mars, sorry, 2Gs. His name's so short. 2Gs, getting a little bit of chip damage on him. He's just going to stick it out in there in that mustache bush. What do we feel like Misfits has to do to come online here, Dragonborn?
Well, I mean, they're already starting it, being aggressive right out the gate. They went for that early Elder Treant. Sometimes we see teams forgo that. Sometimes we see teams not worry about it. But they baited From Mars into a fight to contest around that. And unfortunately, it was a fight that From Mars didn't win. So far, it's been a pretty strong showing here from Misfits. But it looks like that might be changing. Oh, no, but Ali Pearson is able to stay alive in that engagement. Not for long. And Sean...
That got completely turned around there, Dragonborn. Erica Kane, I thought he was going low. I thought he was going to be the one to die, but he ended up getting he has 3 kills now on his own. So low, but this early aggression and the snowball capabilities from this Koshka, she's able to get in, get out, and just the movement speed, move all around the Halcyon fold there. Hello Kitty up in the lane now versus Jazzville. And it's still 4-3 for Misfits at the moment, but the gold is almost dead even.
All right, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a quick pause here. This pause is a technical pause. Let's see if I can get this sorted out here real quickly. Running into a minor technical issue from our production side. It's gonna take me like 2 seconds. So Sean, bear with me here for a quick second.
Sure thing.
I think I should be able to get this fixed in about 10 seconds. You guys probably saw on stream some odd graphic glitching. I'm not really sure what was causing that. So I'm going to check something real quick here. Once I get back loaded into the game, we should be ready to go. All right, so we are back into the matchup. I'm going to keep an eye out for that. So sorry for this pause. as we did want to. So I did have the game paused there, just unpaused it maybe 2 seconds before bringing it back up live. So we did, I think, miss out 1 kill.
Yeah.
Was going over to From Mars.
Yeah, From Mars actually ended up taking down Jazzville right there. They're still working at it. Hello Kitty actually getting tormented back, and he's going pretty low himself, getting slowed up by that splashdown. And 2Gs still pretty healthy there in the lane, and we've evened up the score 4-4 right now. Gold a little bit in favor From Mars. From Mars have that out of the fray available to Hello Kitty, and he's able to back out of this fight. And it's unfortunate that we did see one of the members go down right there in the middle of that pause during the team fight. But Serpent's Mask picked up by Hello Kitty.
Yeah, looking to be aggressive here early on, and sorry about that. Just some things trying to work through here as we.
No problem. I'll take over, Dragonborn. So we do see, we saw an early poison shiv actually come out for Jazzville. So he hit that weapon power item spike a little bit more quickly for his first tier 3 item. And I actually like the poison shiv pickup, but we have Maokai going pretty low there. He's down to about a third less health. Erica Kane jumping in with that Pouncy Fun, able to get off a few hits, taking him down to about a third HP. Maokai staying on the back line there. And 2Gs chained up, but he's able to break those chains. Jazzville clearing up that lane. Erica Kane going pretty low. Oh my goodness, hit by the turret. He's going low. He's able to get out there with the Vanguard. Hello Kitty spin to win. And the Red Mist doing so much work on the Maokai, but he's got that barrier. Oh my goodness. The water wall saved his life there. Jazzville down to about half health, and they're going to go ahead and chase out the Hello Kitty chained up by Ali Peterson. And now we have the self-Vanguard on 2Gs. Will he be able to save Hello Kitty's life? No, he doesn't. Hello Kitty taken out by the Churnwalker. And we're at 5-4 here on the Halcyon Fold. From Mars in a little bit of a deficit. Erica Kane might be in some trouble there. He's actually taken out, melted by Jazzville. And that's what he gets for overstaying his welcome in the Misfits jungle.
Oh yeah, G2 or 2Gs or double Gs. Was not able to rotate up there soon enough, unfortunately. Looks like he went down the shop. They had vision on. So Misfits actually knew he was down there. Catch Erica Kane out. Were able to engage and get that kill. So Misfits, they are up 2 kills, but it's even in gold.
Yeah, it's pretty even in gold right now. 2Gs was going pretty low there, but he was able to stand his ground and just back off a little bit under protection of that Crystal Sentry. Hello Kitty, look at the matchup here in lane. 63 CS to 48 of the CS from Jazzville. It's an interesting matchup because we do see them pretty. We actually see a big advantage in CS for Hello Kitty, but there have just been quite a few kills going onto Jazzville, and that's what's gotten him the gold and the items he needs. But look at in the jungle, 2Gs going a little bit deep, getting half health down. Erica Kane got chained up, but he's going to go ahead and break those chains from that from Ali Peterson on this Turnwalker. Erica Kane getting tormented back. Vanguard Trespass gets stunned up on Erica Kane, but it's blocked by 2Gs. He's able to get out of there, and looks like the teams may be backing off a little bit for the moment. Things looking pretty even here still. Ali Peterson going down pretty low to about a quarter health. 2Gs looking with some flares, seeing what he can spot out, but looks like From Mars is going to go ahead and rotate up. Gauntlet stuns up Jazzville, and he's going so low. A clutch fountain comes into play along with a barrier. Erica Kane got lots of blocks coming out, but a little bit of a stun there, and we do see another stun. Fountain comes out, but it's too late. Jazzville eliminates Hello Kitty, and 2Gs backing off. Erica Kane seeing what he can do. Can he take out Jazzville? He does, and he's going pretty low himself. Watch out for those chains, buddy, and he's able to break them. Ali Peterson, Maokai are on the hunt. Will they be able to take him out? Will this rotation down into the jungle be enough? And it looks like he's going to go ahead and get out of dodge. Misfits doing what they can here, keeping this lead steady. 7-5 right here at 8.5 minutes in. We're still behind in gold by about 500, Dragonborn.
Yeah, I mean, you know, trying to keep this even here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to report that I think that, you know, based on reading you guys' chat's view, but actually just paying attention, it does look like I've identified the issue. The visual glitch does seem to occur on the spectator client every time Lorelei uses her A. I will do my best, only in the field of view, so I'll do my best to try to avoid that, but let's be honest, it's going to be near impossible. got a fight breaking out here, Sean, and Jazzville goes low. Looks like From Mars trying to be the aggressors in this fight.
Bit of a fight breaking out there, Dragonborn. Watch out there. Erica Kane is doing a little bit of work on Ali Peterson. Ali Peterson's down to about half health, a little bit of a barrier there for his health. And we're going to have From Mars rotate down into the jungle. No trades there from Mars, between From Mars and Misfits. And both sides of this battle still have all 5 of their turrets up. It's pretty much anybody's game at this moment, despite the slight advantage that we are seeing in kills for Misfits.
Yeah, absolutely. It could go either way. This is the series we talked about was going to be so close. And it has definitely been exceptionally close in these matchups. With one game going over to the side of From Mars, but Misfits looking to come back.
Good steal by Erica Kane. He's going pretty low, and he gets stunned up by the trespass. Is he able to get out of there on time? And we do have Lorelei Maokai going so low. Death from above comes out, but Maokai's taken out of the fight. And here we have Ali Peterson stunned up, destroyed by that yummy catnip frenzy. And will Jazzville be able to get out of dodge? He's pounced upon. Triple kill by Hello Kitty, and it's an ace for Mars.
Huge ace coming in, and From Mars needed this. They've been behind in these team fights, struggling to find the kills or at least close out, and that's the first ace of the game. So fantastic job by From Mars, and this is likely going to secure them the first turret of the game. And when you look at the gold, they were already starting to keep a little bit of a gold lead, keeping it very close. Now they've got a substantial 3,000 gold lead. They are pushing the envelope, and they're also trying to get gold mine while we see Hello Kitty keeping Lorelei at bay. They're very close, but it looks like they may not be able to prevent Misfits from engaging on this gold miner.
Hello Kitty is just 1v3ing everybody, Dragonborn. They're just doing so much work here. They still haven't gotten that gold miner. It's down to about half health. We know that Erica Kane on this Koshka is not the best at taking objectives, but once all 3 members are able to focus it down, they're able to get an immense gold payout From Mars. And Misfits may be starting to lose their edge on the game, Dragonborn. But Erica Kane gets caught out a little bit by that stun, but is able to block it off. And it looks like we have them not tormented, but chained up. 2Gs in a dire situation right now. He's still on the leash by Ali Peterson. Hasn't been able to get away yet. We see those chains being thrown out into the bush, but no cigar. Not able to catch anybody. Flares are coming out. Misfits, they want some blood, but they're not quite able to find it. And Erica Kane gets that mid-treant to go ahead and heal up.
Yeah, so, you know, Misfits playing from behind in gold now by 5,000. Have to be careful because From Mars with that turret in the lane, still at full health with some items coming online. They're going to be able to hit their power spike soon. And the fights, honestly, are going to be something Misfits From Mars are going to be looking for. So Misfits really, you know, if they go for the surprise attack, maybe. Right now we do see them pushing in the lane, but Hello Kitty and 2Gs, they should be able to sit back and keep Misfits at bay for the time being.
Oh, Erica Kane comes in, clutch gauntlet comes down, stuns up the members of Misfits, and the yummy catnip frenzy gets blocked off, and we have Death from above raining down upon everybody in this choke point. Erica Kane kites backwards, and we have Hello Kitty doing the work, getting stunned up by that fish food. He is going back into the mustache bush, getting away from the members of Misfits. We have 2Gs going so low. Serious strike, him to the back. He's trying to get under turret, but the Torment pulls him back. He's going down, thanks to Jazzville. And now we have to spin to win, but it's not enough. Lorelei Maokai taking out Hello Kitty. And now this turret is on the next part of the menu for Misfits, taken down. 4 turrets apiece remain for both sides, Misfits and From Mars, Dragonborn. And this other turret is on the next part of the menu. This one's going to be the main course.
Yeah, they're looking to push in. Erica Kane just going to have to deal with just collecting his farm. Not willing to risk going up there and giving up a kill. I think that's the right call. You know you're going to lose the 2 turrets. You're just going to deal with getting aced or giving up an ace or giving up another kill. So they're quite happy, just trying to look to get back into this game. They still have a gold lead, so From Mars shouldn't be too worried. You know, they can't see that they have the gold lead, but they have to feel like when you look at the items that they're still in a good spot. Hello Kitty building up more defense. has those 2 items. We don't see the Rona typically build a 3rd item. Again, just becomes very tanky and just looks to outlast and use that Serpent's Mask to build longevity in these fights. But Lorelei, already with those 2 full items and an Aegis, maybe looking to again, be a little bit tanky herself. We haven't seen CP Lorelei, but here's a fight.
They're starting this up, getting into the fight. Hello Kitty keeps going in, jumping into the fray. Trespass comes out. He gets stunned up. A lot of blocks coming out from that. Oh, another Trespass stuns up Hello Kitty again. He's thrown out an Atlas. What is he doing? He's getting out of the fight. But we do see that Erica Kane takes out the Churnwalker, and there's death everywhere. Erica Kane's cutting backwards. He's so hurt, but 2G's is not helping him out. We need a Vanguard on him. He's able to kite away a little bit. Jazzville trying to throw out some forward barrage, but oh no, is he gonna get spotted out?
Yeah.
They want a place to teleport. You made a mistake, Erica Kane, and you were punished.
You know, he was trying to be a little cute there by going into a spot that, really probably didn't seem practical, trying to maybe bait Jazzville down into the jungle, but unfortunately Jazzville ended up catching him out. And so not going to work out. It is going to be a 2-man trade apiece for both teams.
Yeah, Erica Kane's actually been the one to look out for. A lot of, both Erica Kane and Hello Kitty can really initiate into the phrase and the yummy catnip frenzy to be able to stun up and even slow down the members of Misfits. But From Mars has got to be really careful with this next team fight here, because the Kraken has spawned Dragonborn, and we know that when a team fight goes awry, then that team, whoever dies, is going to be getting some hurt with this Kraken here. We do have 3 turrets remaining for From Mars. Shiversteel actually picked up by Hello Kitty, and we've seen Shiversteel become very popular as of late. Looks like they actually get spotted out there. Misfits does. They're backing off a little bit from that Tribush. And we have a chain tormenting onto Erica Kane, but he's able to get away from it. And teams are posturing very heavily here, but it looks like Misfits has a little bit of a control in the mid area of the map now. And we have the lane being cleared out by Hello Kitty right now. Misfits knows this is happening. They're rotating up, trying to meet them, trying to chase them down, but they're not able to. What needs to happen here next, Dragonborn?
Well, Mars, they have the advantage in items still. They have a little bit of a gold advantage, but there's no vision for either team. So both teams are kind of at the mercy of trying to get a flare down on the enemy Tribush and maybe start the engagement. You see, Lorelei's done such a good job at putting these fish traps and locking up the side of Mars with those stuns. They basically have been stunned up continuously. Churnwalker's followed up, so Ali Peterson, if he gets a Trespass down, he'll be able to follow that up with a nice 3-man stun if they can get some chains down as well and lock From Mars up. That's something From Mars have to be ready with. You see, there's a fight breaking out.
Lorelei's going pretty low, and Malachi is almost dead, but he gets a barrier, and he's still able to survive. We do see Hello Kitty actually take him out, and now Erica Kane's getting tormented back. They're trying to save Jazzville. He's kiting around the fight, but Ali Peterson may be the sacrificial lamb here, and he goes down. Jazzville soon to follow. Shut down. And it's an ace. Sentry next on the list, and now From Mars is going to be pushing this second turret here. Kraken is next on the menu for them, and they are hungry for it.
Oh my goodness, From Mars have just opened up this game. It was even in turrets. The kills were even fairly close. The gold was starting to come back where Misfits started to find some momentum, but From Mars, huge ace is going to open this up with a Kraken going over in their favor. They may be looking to push this, but let's hope they don't make the same mistake that Misfits made, because, boy, that is going to be a disaster.
I hope they don't make the same mistake that a lot of teams make, which is when you're pushing with the Kraken, you've got to play it low and slow. If you get caught out or you push too far forward when you have the Kraken, you can get easily eliminated, and that's something that From Mars does not want to do. They've got to be able to play a little bit back from the Kraken, let the Kraken take most of the hits, do most of the work, but at the same time, they've got to balance that with not letting the Kraken get too low before it gets past that choke point turret. And they have the advantage here. Once you have 2 Vein Crystal turrets, it can really easily be a good push with this. Crystal Sentry is going to be taken out. I think this is going to be the last life for the Crystal. Oh, 1 life remaining for the Crystal Sentry. And From Mars pushing into the base here. Ali Peterson throwing out some of those chains, doing some auto attack damage onto the Kraken. But you know what? Hello Kitty's throwing out the damage. A good fish food stuns up 2 members of From Mars. But you know what? Oh, and the Yummy Cat and Frenzy is actually blocked off. Erica Kane going so low, he's going to have to kite back. Another stun onto 2Gs. He is in a world of hurt, going down half. Erica Kane still Kraken doing the work on the Fade Crystal. Oh no,
this could be it.
Kraken be able to do it? So healthy. There's no way. One more hit.
GG.
We can't do it. GG. 4 From Mars in game 2, taking it to the Misfits.
Woo! Unbelievable job by the side of From Mars, 2-0ing their opponents in what otherwise has been an incredibly close series between these two teams. And, you know, just the matches were very close, back and forth, but it was, of course, From Mars to win this 2-0 and take it to the house. They are moving on to the semifinals.
That's right, Dragonborn. The semifinals of VISPRO Winter Season 2018. Things are looking really good with From Mars, and they well deserve it, just getting into the Vainglory 8 last challenge battles. And this was an astounding performance by them. It looked a little shaky at first, but once they were able to get more of their items built, to get some of these items online, we just saw a lot of work, equal work rather, from both Erica Kane and Hello Kitty here, jumping in with those into the phrase, those pouncy funds coming in, targeting who they needed to target and focusing them down. Jazzville, though, did some really good work on this weapon power Sky, but it wasn't enough because Maokai on the CP Lorelei wasn't able to survive and do what she needed to do to facilitate for Jazzville.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we are concluding our stream for tonight. Those are our 2 quarterfinal matches that we planned to stream, and of course, they were very exciting, both ending in 2 games. So again, very dominant performances by both teams moving on. Tribe clearly being the most dominant performance we've seen all season long here on the Winter VIS 3v3. So excited to see them move on. I do want to take a small second here to apologize to everybody for those glitches in the game. We had no idea that would happen. Unfortunately, there was nothing on my side, equipment-wise, that I could resolve. And so I did the best I could to try to mitigate the damage, but it was very much unavoidable. Thanks, everyone, for dealing with that, and I hope everybody's eyes will recover. Hey, real quickly, Sean, I do want to take a quick second here. We're going to go just look at tomorrow's matchups. Make sure you guys watch tomorrow. Tomorrow is our second day of quarterfinals, and it will be starting off with a lot of fun as Nova Esports will be taking on Jimmy's Fan Club. Jimmy Fan Club, a bunch of players for their former Necrolite / NRG. You're definitely not going to want to miss that. Those guys are fantastic. And that first matchup is going to be exciting, but then the second one, it's going to be Vision Gaming versus Team Ferox. Another exciting matchup, Sean. So, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, and we'll also make sure that we resolve some of those issues so you guys don't have to worry about any visual bugs going up into tomorrow's matchup. So, again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you guys all coming out and watching VIS here in our Winter Season 3v3 Championship. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, good night.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.